Let's begin today's Vanguard news with Lyrical Monasteria players coping that their old decks finally get supported with good cards like how I cope with Segria every time a Craycross epic or manga booster set comes out. Overnight Confetti Doris while on rear guard lets you pay 1 Feltyrosa Soul Blast when she attacks to add up to 1 Feltyrosa card from the top 5 cards of your deck. Then put a card in hand into your soul if you added a card with this ability, and she goes to the bottom of your deck at the end of the turn. Last I checked, the Easter Feltyrosa calls Feltyrosa cards to an open rear guard instead of going into the soul, and requires the help of something like Ortred to put them in. And it feels like the card of the day earlier was meant for Feltyrosa. Sweet and delightful Arabesque Agate when placed on rear guard gets 5k power if you have a grade 3 or higher Feltyrosa Vanguard, and once per turn. While on the back row rear guard, you can put another rear guard in the same column as her to the bottom of your deck at the end of the battle she boosted, while you have a grade 3 or higher Feltyrosa Vanguard to stand herself. Then you can pay 3 energy if you have a grade 3 Feltyrosa card in your soul to draw a card. This is basically a better version of Din Drain. Why bother playing Ezel when one nation can do the same thing, but better and faster? Gospel of the Frozen Knight Hate Emery gets all of her abilities if you have a Feltyrosa Vanguard. When she's placed on rear guard during your main phase, you can pay 1 counterblast to call up to 1 card with a grade equal or lower than your Vanguard. Then she gets an auto ability if your Vanguard is grade 3 or higher. That gives herself 5k power when she attacks, but she goes to the bottom of the deck at the end of that battle. And while in the drop zone, she gives your trigger units revealed from your drive check an additional trigger effect that calls a copy of herself from your drop zone to rear guard if you don't have another copy of her on rear guard, and if your Vanguard is grade 3 or higher. The Ezel slander continues as this is a better feathered dragon. Expect players who revive her with her own ability to still return her back to the deck at the end of the battle due to condition confusion. And if you're confused on how her third ability works, think of it like an over trigger with an additional effect. Gorgon Gift Siana is also regarded as Gorgonized Siana. When placed by riding over Gorgonized Siana, you can either call up to 1 normal unit card that isn't a sentinel, or add up to 1 Blitz order from the top 5 cards of your deck. While on Vanguard, she gets an extra crit and drive check if your opponent has 2 or less front row units on rear guard or the Guardian Circle. And while on Vanguard at the end of your turn, ride the original Gorgonized Siana from your soul and rest. So her upgrade just got a free rear guard or Blitz order. If they wanted Siana's original defensive abilities, they could have just put them into this card instead of making this form temporary, as it forces you back to the original Siana like this was a Craycross epic deck. Build a SnowMan Firo, while in the drop zone lets you pay 3 energy if you don't have another copy of her on rear guard and your opponent has no front row rear guards to call herself to rear guard and get to K power. And while on rear guard, you can put herself into your soul if your Vanguard is the original Gorgonized Siana to ride Gorgon Gift Siana from your deck. Then activate Persona Ride if you did not normal or Persona Road this turn. Wait a minute, Siana was indeed part of the Craycross epic lore? Haven't really kept up with it because Bushiroad and the Vanguard wiki no longer translates them. And of course, they copied Immigra, the best ride-up support among them, but took it 1 step further and made this card to generic that you can rush with it going second on your grade 1 ride turn with any Lyrical Monasteria deck. On a side note, if you were expecting a Frozen reference, tell Disney to fuck off with claiming 2 seconds of their music first. Maybe it's embarrassed error hail when put on rear guard or the Guardian Circle from your deck or hand lets you put up to 1 Siana card from your drop zone to either the bottom of your deck or soul. Let's face it, every other nation is basically a testing grounds to perfect Lyrical Monasteria, as this is trying to mimic Eva's way of reusing her ride-up form and support. And I don't want to hear Eva mains complaining about this when no other Craycross epic deck got as much utility as her until now. Breath melting into white Roland when placed on rear guard lets you return up to 1 of your opponent's front row rear guard back to their hand. You soul charge 1 card instead if you did not return a rear guard with this ability. And while on rear guard, you can put her into your soul when your Siana Vanguard attacks, while your opponent has no front row rear guards. To draw a card, then stand 1 of your rear guard if you Persona Road this turn. and your unit did not stand yet during that battle phase. On top of Asta, the deck now has a Valkyria clone to perform up to 5 attacks. Every other Kraycross epic deck besides Eva and Thegria can do 5 attacks at this point. And no, Chaos don't count because reasons. A celebratory song in the snow-covered night sky is a Blitz order that when played, lets you either give one of your unit being attacked 10k power for that battle. It gets 20k power instead if the opponent's attacking unit is a rear guard unit, or give the attacked unit 30k power for that battle if an attack hits your Vanguard this turn. On top of Winter Live check it last Tuesday, can you still deny the fact that this nation is never fucking punished when they get generic and costless orders that basically provide them so much resource and defensive options, while the other nations get nothing similar? Finally, here's a teaser for Siana's new LSR artwork. Someone is probably going to rant why her face is uncovered again. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if Siana overthrows Eva as Kraycross Epic's best deck.